Okay, I hope it's going. Okay, so today we are doing lesson 8.6. Okay, and this one, 8.6, is on solving equations with variables on both sides. So I'm just going to put variables on both sides. This is solving equations with variables on both sides. So this whole chapter is over solving equations. And when we're solving equations, we're always trying to get the variable, or the x, by itself, right? So today we're going to be doing some, and actually we only have 2 examples, and then I'm going to have y'all do some on your own. But today, let me show you, let's do example 1. And I'll show you how to take care of those variables on both sides. So we have 7x equals 16 plus 5x. Okay, so there's different ways to do this, and if I had a whole bunch of examples, I could show you all the different ways that you could be doing this. But what you're really trying to do is get x by itself. So I almost always just try to get x on the left-hand side. If there's an x on this side and this side, I just try to get on the left-hand side. But sometimes it's easier to try to get on the right-hand side. And maybe I'll show you some of those in a minute, but let's just go through and do this one. So I want to move this 5x over to this side so that I can have my like terms together. So remember on our warm-up today, when we had something like this, then you're putting your like terms together, making 7b. But these are not on the same side of the equal sign, so you can't just add them together. I need to move this over to this. So if it was just plus 5, the way I would add it, I would move it is by minusing 5, right? It's the same thing when it's an x. I'm going to minus 5x. I'm not dividing by 5, so some people think, well, I want to get rid of the 5, but you want to get rid of the whole 5x, so I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. So the left-hand side now is 7x minus 5x is 2x, and then this side, these two are going to make 0, right? 5x minus 5x is 0, so I just have 16. And then I divide by 2. Just like we did on all our other equations, and our answer is x equals 8. Okay, so sometimes you might be asked to check it, so I'm going to show you the checks on the work today, on the notes today. So remember, when we're doing a check, you always do the original problem. Do not check with this problem. You always check with the original problem. So for a check, we take what x equals, and we're going to put that in place of x. This marker's out. And then, so this time we have 2 x's. So we're going to put 8 in both of those places. So I have 7 times 8 equals 16 plus 5 times 8. So now to finish this check, I'm going to, when you're checking, and I've told y'all this before, but we haven't done a whole lot of checking. You will do a lot of it in algebra. So I like to say, don't look at one side of the equation. Finish this equation. So 7 times 8 is 56. Then when you do the other side, don't look at that side. Do this like you're just solving it. So I have 16 plus 40. Then I add those two together, and I get 56. And now you can see, if you bring this one down, that 56 does equal 56. So that's the way I like to show checks, is don't look at one side, because you're trying to figure out if they're both the same. And sometimes when you look at one side, you just automatically say, oh, well, I know it's supposed to end with 56 equals 56. And this might not equal 56, but because you know it, you're just automatically saying 56. So make sure that it equals 56. Okay, so you're going to have a couple that you have to check today. Okay, any questions over that? So this is what all our problems are going to be, is the x, or the variable, whatever it is, a, b, c, x, y, z, is going to be on both sides. So we're having to get it all on one side. Okay, so let's do one more together, and then I'm going to have y'all do a couple on your own. Okay, so example 2. This one is 2x plus 9 equals 5x minus 3. Okay, so I don't want to confuse y'all too much, but I also want to kind of make it easier on you to do this problem. How about, I'm going to show you the maybe longer way first so that you really understand it, and then I'll show you a little bit shorter way. So remember how I told you I usually get the x's all on one side, on the left side? So I would put minus 5x because this is a positive x, so to do the opposite is minus 5x on both sides. Or I could move the 2x over to this side, and then that makes it so that it's not negative. So either way is fine. I'm going to show you a couple of ways. We're going to do one way on your notes, and then I want you to just watch me with the other ways. So let's do it the way I already told you, is move all the x's to the left. So I'm going to minus 5x on both sides. So this is the one I want you to write down, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other ways where you don't need to write it down. Okay, so 2x minus 5x is negative 3x plus 9. I just bring this down, right? Plus 9 equals, this is 0. So what I have left is negative 3. When it's a minus 3, that means the same thing as negative 3. So now I have this problem, and this is a regular two-step equation. We've done these 100 times. I'm going to minus 9 on both sides. I get negative 3x equals negative 12. I'm going to divide by negative 3, and I get x equals 4. Okay, do y'all have any questions about that one? Okay, so I'm going to show you a quicker way now, okay? So you don't have to write this. If you want to just watch, okay? So let me rewrite the problem. 2x plus 9 equals 5x minus 3. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of ways. Okay, so this is the first way. So instead of doing this minus 5x and this minus 9 as two separate steps, I'm going to put it all into one step. So if you're not good at this or this confuses you, don't do it this way. But for those of you who do it a little bit faster, might want to do it this way. So I'm going to first in my mind and on paper, I'm going to take care of my x's. So I'm going to do minus 5x minus 5x. And at the same time, I'm going to, because my x's are going to the left, I'm going to move my numbers, my constant numbers to the right. So I'm going to subtract 9 and subtract 9. So now when I do this, I get negative 3x. This is 0, right, on this side. So equals, this part is 0. So I have negative 3 minus 9 is negative 12. So see, I got to the same part, but I did these two in one section. And you can do that if it's just adding and subtracting. So I get x equals 4. Same thing, right? It's just a little bit shorter because I did all my work up here. You understand what I just did? Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it another way. Okay, this time, instead of dealing with negative numbers here, I'm going to move the 2x to the right. So I'm going to minus 2x. Now, when I do that, or the reason you might want to do that, is because I know that when I do this, I'm going to get a positive number, and I won't have to deal with negative numbers. So I get 9 equals 3x. Oops, 3x minus 3, right? So these made 0. I get 9 equals 3x minus 3. And I'm going to add 3 on both sides. I could have done it this shorter way, but I want to show you everything. So I get 12 equals 3x. And then I'm going to divide by 3. And see how I just have it on the opposite side? It says 4 equals x instead of x equals 4. Okay, you always want to rewrite it so that it is x equals 4. That's the correct way to write it. Okay, and that's my answer. So this way I didn't have any negatives in my numbers down here, where over here I had a lot of negatives, right? So that's up to you. If you're okay with moving x's to the right hand side and you're going to get this backwards thing, if you can see it all backwards, then you can go with this kind. But if you're like, that's gonna confuse me if I'm moving things to the right instead of to the left, then just keep it with the regular way of doing things. Okay, so open your book to page 267. We're gonna go through a few things together. I'm gonna keep the camera rolling for the girls that are absent so they can kind of do this too. So open your book to, what did I just say?
267.
267. And I want to just look at the very beginning of the skills check. So like the first 4, I think it's 4. Let me finish writing this down.
Yeah, it's 1 through 4 in the first little part.
Yeah, so just look at those. It says write what you would do to get the variable alone on one side of the equation. So it's not saying tell me it's not saying to work the problem out. It's saying what would you do. And notice what wording they said. They said to get it alone on one side of the equation. So on this one, they want you to be looking at the one that's all by itself and moving it to that side, whether it's right or left. So on this one, number 1, what would you do to get the variable on one side?
Subtract 7c.
Well, then that would put it on,
subtract 4c.
right, you would subtract 4c because they want all the c's on this alone. So in this section it says alone. So it doesn't want it with those constant numbers, right? Okay, they don't want you to solve. They just want you to write subtract 4c.
Were you writing this?
No. We're gonna do the 1 through 4 together. Okay, so number 2, what would you do to get the x's by themselves?
Plus 2.
Right, well, not just plus 2.
Plus 2x.
Plus 2x. So that's what I'm gonna do on both sides is plus 2x. So that's, if we were writing this down, you would write add 2x or plus 2x. Okay, so number 3, what would you do on both sides? So this one's a little bit maybe different.
Is it minus 3n?
Right, so they want the n's by themselves, so I'm gonna move the 3n over here to get them by themselves. So it would be subtract 3n or minus 3n. So before we go on to the 4th one, I want to show you this one. So remember when I said I would a lot of times tell the students who have a hard time turning equations around to just do them all on the left? So I can do that here. When I do that here, I don't want y'all to write this, I just want you to watch it. I get negative 5n plus 5 equals what? 0. Okay, because an minus an is 0. So you can still do it this way where you're still getting them all on the left hand side. Just remember that this has got equal to 0. Now I would not do that because it makes more work because now I have to add the thing. It is easier, oops, got the n, to do it this way and now have 5 equals 5n. See, that's a whole lot quicker than getting them both on this side because now I have to subtract 5. Where up here I didn't have to subtract 5 because all my n's were on this side. Okay, last one, number 4, 5y minus 24 equals 9y. So what are you going to do to get the y's together?
Plus 5y.
Not plus 5y. Remember, this minus is attached to this. So this is a positive. So
minus.
I want to minus it. And when I do that, now on this one, it's just asking you what to do. So I would just subtract 5y. But if this was an actual problem, what's left over is negative 24. So remember, minus 24 and negative 24 are the same thing, okay? So you're just changing that minus up to a negative and then, solving the rest of it, okay? Okay, now on your papers, I want you to do 5, 7, and 9 on your own of skills check. If you get all those odds right, you don't have to do any more. But if you get them wrong, I'm gonna have you do a couple more events, okay?
Are we solving and checking or just solving?
No, I want you to solve and check on these. Sorry, I didn't read those. Okay, That's it. Okay, so on this one, it's just a little bit different because it has that parentheses there. So you're gonna first do your distributive property. Make sure you're doing the last one. 5x plus 15 equals x plus 3. Okay? Did y'all get that right, Josephine? I know you did. You got that section right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to get, this is like the second example we did. I want to get the x over with the 5x. So I'm going to subtract x. Okay? Remember, you're only subtracting that or doing the opposite because it's on a different side of the equation. If they're on the same side of the equation, you're just going to add them together. So that gives me 4x plus 15 equals 3. So now this is a regular two-step equation. What do I do now? Subtract 15. If you don't know your integers, put that into your calculator. 3 minus 15 gives you negative 12. Then I'm going to divide by 4, and x gives me negative 3. Okay? So can y'all see where you were going wrong or maybe messed up somewhere?
Yeah, and I was not subtracting x. I was trying to subtract the 5, and I was messing up.
Well, and you can do that, but then you're going to get negative 4x on this side, so it's going to be negative 4x plus 3 equals 15, right? And then you're going to have to move the 3. Okay, so you can do it either way, okay? I'm not going to do it both ways, but you can do it either way, but you still get the same answer. Okay, let's check it real quick. So I'm going to put negative 3 right here and right here. So when I do that, I get 5 times negative 3 plus 3 in parentheses equals negative 3 plus 3. Okay, because I put it right here. So when you're solving this, y'all look at this left-hand side. You do not do distributive property now. If these two can add up inside, I don't need to do distributive property. I do distributive property because I can't do x plus 3 and get one number. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0, right? And over here I have negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. And 5 times 0 is 0. So my check is 0 equals 0. So if I'm asking you to check, I know what this last part should be. If you have something that's not correct on there, then your check's gonna be wrong. Even if you get this right, if I'm grading your check and you have this wrong, this is gonna be points off, okay? Okay, so homework today is gonna be pages 267 through 268, 1 through 29 odds, which comes out to be 15 problems. I want you to check 1 through 11, which is like 7 problems? No, 6 problems. So I want you to check 6 of them. It doesn't say to check them. I want you to just check those first 6. And then the rest of them, the 9 other ones, you don't have to check unless you want to. You can check them if you're not sure if you're right and you want to see if you're right. Okay, so we have quite a bit of time. Let me turn off the video.